messing around right now. I am downloading something in case the bandwidth isn't that great. Oh, I just realized I'm streaming in 4K. This might mess it up. Maybe it'll just adjust it. Let's see. If you're viewing this, does it allow you, can you like select 1080p? I think so. I'm gonna check it right now by actually viewing what I'm doing. There's my voice listening to myself. Yeah, it's in 1080, so okay. I guess it just downscales it. All right, so we will get started here. Where am I? There I am. How's everyone doing today? How is everyone doing out there in the world of Streamland? Where's my chat? Where's my chat? It disappeared. There it is. How's everyone? There you go. So what I was playing there just now is got the email. Was this thing called Oracle X? Wherever. Yeah, that's funny. We have Origin X and Oracle X right now. This is what I was just playing. The interface is really cool, which is why I kind of wanted to show this. I mean, we've done Origin X before. Michaela's harp we can look at. It only has 2 days left for that one. I think I had never heard of this one before, so that's why I want to look at that and kind of show people what that's all about. The Palmery collection I want to look at too. I've got it all loaded up here. And we can look at these other things as well if they're done in my. Yeah, this should be done in my downloads, wherever it is. The Raya plus UM. Yeah, that should be it. So if you want to see something in particular, let me know. I will take everything into consideration. I am doing good. If you see me looking down here, it's because I've got my iPad here, which shows me like the chat. So that's why I keep looking down there. That's where I'm looking at my chat so that it's not all showing up. I'm trying to optimize this as much as I can. So we'll start with this right here is what I had open. This is Oracle X. You see the plugin name is Mandala, MNDALA. That's just like their plugin, their synth, their sampler, where this all runs in, right? So that's why it's named that. And to do this, I think it's the HISE structure. And I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with that, meaning you get a .hr1 sample folder or big sample file when you download it. And so to install this, you would just install this, and then when I'm loading it up, we would just say install Sound Sculpture Instruments, and it's going to ask me for, or the .hr1 file, I might have said .hs1. And that will just download when you download the instrument, and you'll just find it on your system. And as you can see, mine is here, Oracle X samples, and then it loads everything up. So Pretty cool. Now, so no contact, no nothing like that. Now, what I like about this one is this actual interface. As you can see, it's just like beautifully animated and kind of evolves. There's a kind of an XY pad right here on the interface, which is what is going on here. So here is the Y. The X is just click here and then drag it right to left. That's the drive. This one is the intensity. Click there, it'll kind of overlap. You see there, it's kind of like the equal sign. Here it's the triangle, so that's that little pyramid down there, which opens and closes. This one is pretty much just expression for this particular preset called Andean Flute. Andean. So you'll hear there, it's pretty much just expression. And then when we click over here on the sun, that the kind of moon rotates around the sun planet there, and we hear that tremolo effect getting very pronounced. Hello from Germany. Hello in Streamland. Everyone's doing good, doing fine. I'd like to hear the heart, please. Okay. You know, I did do a video on that. If we don't cover it, there is a video on that you can listen to. So we had a I literally just had a tornado watch or warning on my phone. Like I noticed that I knew it was supposed to be like maybe thunderstorms today. That's why I'm looking back here. It's been like sunny and really warm out all day. Like I was even thinking about going riding, and then I just heard thunderstorm come out of nowhere, like crazy rain, and it lasted for like 5 minutes. And then my phone got a notification saying tornado watch or warning, whichever one is less severe in Baltimore County. I was like, oh well, it just stopped. Like it went for like 5 minutes. So if the stream gets cut short and you hear the window break, you know, I'm just shutting it down and I'm running downstairs. So I don't think anything's gonna happen. It's like sunny again. All right, so just going through some of these presets. Some really cool textures in here. You can tell it's an organic sound source, right? You can tell that's a bowed cello, but it's not just a cello. There's something more going on there. It's really cool. Again, kind of intensity does the expression here, so lowering it just quiets that sound down. On other presets, it does different things, kind of like morphs differently. So that Z, which the sun is our delay. And the octave here. Like that is really effing cool right there. That bow going across the cello, again, 100% organic, but with that processing going on, it's just like the little kind of like the little quivering semitones in the higher octave, just that squeak at the bow. It's just very intense, very dark. I love this kind of stuff, the textures. So I'm kind of just going left and right through the presets, but like if we click here, we're gonna get categories, right? So I think right now, yeah, I'm on singles. So these are gonna be more like playable instruments, single notes. where you know, each note is gonna play. They're gonna be more melodic and playable. Oh, or like the kind of pizzicato like this. So that's when I started the video. I was kind of doing that pizzicato stuff. So if you heard that, it was all this, right? All the singles. So we can go to different categories as well, but I kind of like these. I want to just kind of explore this a little bit more. We'll go to the other categories. All right, I'm reading the chat since lots of guys of you'd said hi. So hello everyone. Hope everyone is okay. Regards from England. Thank you. Same to you. Yo Brian, yo Dan. Hi Brian everyone. Hi Les. Oh yeah, Epic World. We did a deal on Epic World. I have that one as well. I think Epic World is more like synthetic, like with the pad, though it can be organic. But definitely they can definitely compare. They each have their own like different flavor. I feel like this one's a little bit more organic and gritty, and Epic World is more like kind of fantasy, like magical, ethereal. But they definitely could be compared. So let's see what this one does. So dry right now, and turn the reverb up. Brian, what other plugins you recommend, please? For what? Ask me what you're looking for, and I'll give you some recommendations. I've got everything on the market, pretty much. Thanks for doing this. I love audio plugin. It's good to be able to afford unaffordable plugins. Thank you from Columbia, Missouri. Thank you, Jim. I used to live in Missouri myself. I grew up in St. Charles, Missouri, and I love it there. Can you see my comments? Yes. I joined late. What's the name of this plugin? This plugin that I'm looking at right now, I will show you, is called, I'm going to drag this over here. This is called Oracle X, and it is right here. So you'll notice that the actual name of it is different. So I'll label it so if anyone else, the name of the sampler or this actual plugin is called Mandala, and then the name of this library is called Oracle X. It's pretty cool format as well. A lot of companies I've noticed are going to this kind of high structure. I think that's what this is because they all use the HR1 compression for like downloading the samples. So you'll notice that like Channel Robot does that. There's a lot of different ones. Of course, I can't think of them right now. But if you look at our deals, I do this a lot where I kind of explain how to install these. Quite a few of them are moving to this. So moving away from, you know, Contact, which they're kind of locked into like the Native Instruments ecosystem and have to pay them to do Contact player libraries and get serials and all that stuff. So if we read about it, at the heart of Oracle X is our founder, Brian de Olivieres, and then we look at his credits. The Witcher, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Resident Evil 7 and 8. So you can hear that in that those organic samples, right? Collection of one-of-a-kind instruments from around the globe, from aleatoric flute swarms and bombastic drums to bowed metal textures and extended Baroque cello harmonics like we were hearing earlier. So really cool stuff here, and it's exciting that they have their own plugin as opposed to being tied in with Contacts. A lot of cool stuff going on with that in the industry lately. So the sounds kind of speak for themselves. I really wanted to focus on this one because I was really impressed by it. And to install this, it's very easy. We'll get a Pulse download key. So I know a lot of you are familiar with Pulse, and it will be accessible wherever you have your Pulse installer, which is really cool. So anytime I log into my Pulse on any computer, this will oh, it's not there. Maybe I'm lying. I thought it was, or I thought it was with this. There it is. I knew I wasn't crazy. So with our Pulse downloader, any computer will have access to that. Just click here, and it's about 14 gigs. So a lot of good samples there. Put it on an external drive if you can, if you don't have enough space on your hard drive. So we've heard some of the playable, the singles as they call them. So we'll go back out into the main browser, and I'll go into Winds and Horns now. And I'll also check on our chat over here. Contact 7, not out yet. Not going to be out for a while. I bought the Lyric String Series String Quartet, and it is a real marvel, says Sergio. Which realistic legato strings do you recommend for someone on a budget? You know, these are on sale right now. What is it? Agitato, I think, is really cheap. And they do legato only. So again, you know, strings can be expensive, so maybe this isn't cheap to you. But some of these, so Agitato all bundle is $100 right now. And this is like solely legato, right? And it sounds really good. Someone mentioned Spitfire Passionata strings, have it and love it. But I don't think that would be considered cheap. I think it is cheap for what it offers, and it's a great deal. But I think usually people are looking for like, you know, 100, less than $200. But this one, I have it and use it, and it's legato strings, and they're really expressive and kind of very natural sounding because they have the dynamics kind of programmed into the samples themselves, like a Passionata strings, which is what reminded me of that. So something good right there. Let's see. What about something like Serum? What about it? Have it, love it, good stuff. Yes, I got a Mac. Hello everyone who's just joining. Hello. We're looking at Oracle X, and I'm answering questions on the side as well, which I'm happy to do. So, remember I said the singles are very playable. This is not as playable. It's more like you hold one note and listen to the little things that go on with it. Brian, what do you think is the best synthesizer? I think like the best all-in-one would probably be like Synthmaster. The ones I use the most lately, I've been using Dune 3 a lot. As you can see, I've got it here because I really love VPS Avenger, but I hate the licensing thing they do where you like literally every 90 days you have to reactivate it on your computer, and I get why they do it so people don't pirate it, and I hate people that pirate stuff because it fucks over the developers and everyone who wants to buy it. But it's also a pain in the ass to like, you don't use it for 90 days and you load a project, you gotta like go back in the thing and reactivate it. It's a really good synthesizer though. So I've been using Dune 3 lately because it's easier to license and it sounds really good. And it's got just everything I would need. But the ones I use the most, I've talked about Synthmaster before. Reveal Sound Spire I use for the EDM stuff. Serum I use for the more gritty sound design. Arteria Pigments as well. So yeah, some of you notice I got a Mac, right? So obviously I'm only kind of installing like my most used plugins. So now's a good time to ask me what my what my favorites are, because as you can see, oh, the UHE Zebra 2. This is the synths I use the most. I didn't install any of the stuff that I don't use. So VPS Ventures in here, Massive is in here. A lot of stuff that I would just have just kind of taking up space. So UHE Diva Repro 5, which both of those are good analog kind of emulation. Zebra 2 is the best like cinematic. Dune 3, love it. That one I got more recently. Low CPU footprint. I'd say if you have to buy one, Synthmaster 2, and if you're getting like started into synths and stuff, because it can do, you know, analog emulation, wavetable, all that kind of stuff in one, and it's cheap for what it offers. So that is one I'll always have on hand. Someone mentioned Serum, also have that installed as well. So I know that's a lot, but these are the ones I use all the time. Falcon, I have Falcon here too. I didn't want to mention it because that's like really complex and a lot more than just a soft synth, right, with the samples and stuff. But also I've got it. Got it right there. No, Dune 3 is not on audio plugin deals. But the thing about this is I love music. We all love this stuff. I've got pretty much everything and work full time in the industry doing all this kind of stuff. So I'm happy to share my insight and opinion if anyone may want it. And if you don't want it, that's fine as well. Well, let's look at the deals. So just kind of scrolling through these again. We'll do giveaway one now because, okay, my download just installed with Sample Logic Gamelon, so that's something else we can look at. As long as it's here, I'll delete the RAR files, and we can look at that as well. First, I'm going to do giveaway number 1. If you don't know how we do giveaways, I will let you know right now. So we're going to do a giveaway for a $50 audio plugin deal gift card. We're going to do 4 of them throughout the stream. So if you don't win this one, you got 3 more chances after that. So I'm going to ask everyone, please don't start yet, but please type one number between 1 and 1,000 into the chat. Don't type a bunch of numbers, just type 1. And between 1 and 1,000, we're going to randomly select a number. Whoever guesses closest to that randomly selected number is going to win the $50 gift card, which you can use on deals. You can use it in the shop. You can use it for anything. So not yet. You'll be able to type just in 1 second as I typed out these things. Okay, you can. Everyone started, so go ahead. I just like to type the instructions as well. So, I'm reading the stuff. Dune 3. Yeah, awesome stuff. Synthmaster's awesome stuff. The Lyric Series String Quartet is good as well. You guys, I did some demos for that. And I think it sounds great. So yeah, remember about 3 weeks ago, I was asking everyone about Mac and all this stuff, and as you can see, big leap for me. I got a MacBook Pro, the M1, and 64 gigs of RAM. So yeah, it was expensive, but I absolutely love it. I still have my Windows stuff for gaming, and my desktop downstairs is all Windows, so I'll still be using that in videos every now and then and for live streams. But right now, this is where it's at, and I absolutely love it. It's a lot faster and a lot more stable for my big templates and stuff like that. This one's called Monsoon Season. That's really cool. Yeah, only type one number, like I mentioned like 5 times. Um, just type one number once. You don't need to type it more than once, and don't type more than one number, because then you'll immediately not be able to win. Yeah, you're good. I just said that because someone said one number only. So that means that I think someone was just typing over and over. By the way, thank you, Brian, for the Vapor Keys info last time. It's a great deal for the price for retro synthwave stuff. Karani Sounds rocks. Any new deals from them soon? I don't know. I think we always kind of have some of their stuff on like in rotation, right? So it's very common. Once we do a deal with a certain developer more than once, you can bet we're going to keep doing it, right? You'll notice that trend. If you see something you really love and take note of the developer, and then you see a couple months later we do another deal with them, that means they're in the cycle, and we're probably just going to keep doing deals with them on whatever products they want to put on sale. So I just downloaded Gamelon. Is that a contact player library? I think it is. I think it is. Yes, it is. And that would be there. There. Bing. There it is. All right, so we'll look at this too. Anyone get close yet? I don't know. I don't generate the number till after we're done. So everyone, I think everyone got a chance to type one in. So winding down the giveaway, get those last numbers in if you're holding out. I know many of you hold out for a while. After I type done or stop, that's it. And there we go. Let's see. So the first winning number is 857. And I see a 856, which is damn close, which is pretty cool. I always like when someone hits it right on the dot or like really close, so. That would be it. Pretty good. How do you guys all know his name? I'm confused. Did something happen I'm not aware of? I was like, who is that? Okay. Do you guys know what a gamelon is? It's an instrument, mallet percussive instrument. Sounds like that. Yeah, who is Edgar and why? Because there was 8. Is there someone closer? You guys are confusing me now. Because 857, and this guy got 8. This person got 856. So everyone, you say reading is fundamental. You're reading the numbers. So am I. And Edgar is not the winner. Okay. Edgar is someone who guessed 850, and then everyone said congrats, he's the winner, but he wasn't. So you guys fucked with his head. So that's kind of just clicked a preset that said instrumental. And again, I know a lot of you are familiar with sample logic, so they kind of just have this kind of rhythmic stuff, arpeggios, like what I was just playing. I was just holding chords and it was automatically arpeggiated. So we'll check out some of these. You can tell the gamelon is the main sound for this, but obviously it's been processed to hell. Cinemorph X was actually my favorite sample logic library, the first one I ever got. I use it a lot. So as you can see, we have like different categories: one note combos, atmospheres, instrumentals, loops, and percussives. So I was just playing instrumentals, so they're nice and playable. Now we're on atmospheres, so probably just going to be like holding one note, and it'll kind of evolve over time as opposed to playing chords and stuff. Forgot to say support at audio the winner, please email support at audioplugin.deals. That's how you get your gift card. What DAW are you using that this happens? It's really beautiful. Very cool. So I use Studio One 5 Pro 2 as well. I've never had a crash with it. Have you emailed their support? Because I had a problem with like the CPU intensiveness of it. Back on my old computer, and I emailed them, and they got right back to me and were like helping me out with that. All right, you know what time it is. You asked me if I'm doing beat reviews. I don't know what you mean by that. You know, it's fun learning the commands of Mac too. So I look up here on my little help bar, because you know, the control and the alt are like different. So you just hold down the button. It's like, okay, that's to loop end. That's the loop start. Always use the help button. I tell my students that too. I'm like, this is a complex program. Click that. And even I use it after using this stuff for so many years. So we're gonna make a song here. I think I started with D down there. Okay. Yes, Riverman, I got a Mac. I absolutely love it. I mentioned that before. Oh, someone asked me how my guitar playing's going. I've been using Amplitude. I'll show you my new Les Paul over there because it's the nicest one I've ever bought. We'll talk about that a little later. Oh, what was I doing? So yeah, I got the M1 Max with 64 gigs of RAM, and the 2 terabyte SSD, 16-inch. So you look it up. This was a lot of money, but very much worth it. I absolutely love it. I still love Windows. You know, I still got my laptop over there, and my desktop downstairs is Windows, and I'll be using that for gaming and also music and stuff like that because I've got so much stuff set up on it already. But after using this, I do plan to migrate fully to Mac for work, for audio and doing the videos for you guys and stuff like that, just because I love it. It's a lot more stable, faster, and more, just everything's an improvement for work, not for gaming, but can't win at everything. So let's get kind of like a nice fluty sound. Check out Winds of Time. Exactly, that's pretty much exactly the kind of thing I wanted. Just a shrieking, ethnic sounding flute. This over there. Shorten that. Duplicated the Gamelon. I want a new kind of more intense loop to come in after 4 bars there. So I never used any other Mac operating system, guys. This is my first Mac. It came with Monterey, so everything works fine. The only thing that doesn't is Isotope Ozone 8 because I never upgraded to 9, so now I have to upgrade to 9. I just haven't upgraded yet. I don't use it. It's not essential to me, but I couldn't install it because it was not for this one. So they get more of my money down the line. That's fine, whatever. So we can start like adding some synths here. I'm gonna use the Noise Ash stuff that I just uploaded a video on. We have the Noise Ash Paul Murray action, not action, the Paul Murray collection right now. I said action because it has action filter, action delay, and action phaser. So I'm gonna add some Dune 3. And using these action plugins, oh my god, I turned them all on. So normally, what does this sound like? Sounds like this. So that's how much we mess with the sound there. I kind of like the way it was, though. I'm going to turn off some of these. There we go. That's pretty cool. So does this work with pitch bend? Bump the reverb up. Kind of like that. When you teach in college, what is your best reference for plugins and music production for dummies? Me. I do direct them to like some basic like pages, and not really about music production. I teach them all the music production stuff, and I do start like as if they're dummies, because there is no experience required for this class. I do hope they have some interest or maybe some prior experience, but I do just kind of go through the basics and teach them from square one. So the whole production, stock plugins, how to use synths, how to apply like basic effects, and then after week 1 or 2 we move on to using the orchestra, and I show them articulations and stuff like that. So yeah, I do direct them to basic like pages just about scales, because again, some of these kids, they don't have any formal music education, and you don't have to read music, but I do just point out to them that to pick a key first and stay in that. So I teach them how to stay consistent, make sure that you're in the key of D for this whole section, because if you go and add another layer and which is in the key of D sharp, or you don't pay attention to the key, it's gonna suck. So I just tell them basic stuff like that and point them to like a basic piano scale resource, right? Just what a major minor scale is. But also all this stuff can be learned in our DAW, you know what I mean? So one of the first things I show them is how to create triad chords, because those are so essential to like film music and video game music. And then I show them how to figure that out on their own, so that they can know how to find a triad when they're not in front of a computer, if they're just in front of an instrument and there's no computer around. So I try to have them learn that for a little bit, and then I teach them about the little scale thing, and say, remember, we're in the key of D, so here's a quick cheat sheet. If you want to know the keys for major or minor triad, it's all right here. So just little things like that. Uncheck that. Are the courses online? Where are the dogs? Oh, they're around. Not in here. So yes, we'll continue to work on this, and I'll construct this. The courses online, they are not available online. They're only available to the students. So the students have to enroll. I do teach it remotely here from my studio, but they are all in a computer lab fitted with, they have Studio One Professional, and they also have Audio Imperia Nucleus Lite to make use of, as well as the Project Sam Free Orchestra. So we start with stock plugins, and then we move on to creating orchestral scores in different capacities. Mostly for video games, so I pick a level or a design and have them pick a picture, and they create an environment music or battle music. It's a lot of fun. So I'm going to duplicate this again. Quick way to get a duplicate of the same contact library without dragging in a new contact. And if you have any effects applied, if I had reverb sends on this, or I had this action delay or anything inserted on this, and I wanted that also to be on the next one, I just duplicate, then go in and change the instrument, or change the preset sound, whatever. One of these was really cool. I think it was, no, that's the one I was just using. There we go. There, that's good. So kind of take my loop to the next section, and then oh, which one set my loop range? This one. Yeah, I told you the control and this stuff. You're like a noob again. So you know, I like to do orchestral stuff. We're gonna start kind of layering in some good stuff here. I don't really have any dry strings here. Yes, I do. These are my favorite shorts for cutting through a mix. Which is LA scoring strings. This is 3, but the 2 is the exact same samples. This is just like a revamped engine and has polyphonic legato and stuff. So I'll kind of go in more detail about how I do all this stuff because someone said it's a good learning experience. And the way I compose stuff so quickly, because some of you guys asked like how I'm able to do this stuff, I have my alternate tool. So I have the mouse available all the time. You click here, my alternate tool is the paint tool. So I'm not constantly having to hit like 1 or 2 to switch between those. I literally just hold command or control, and it's instantly a paint. So I can just do that. Now instead of going and painting this again, I just hold option or alt, whatever it is, and just do that. So I'm constantly copying and pasting stuff and moving it. So I just painted that line within a matter of seconds as opposed to going in and clicking out each note. Hit Control A, select all, lower all the velocities at once. And set up a little bit of negative delay there. If you have a string library that's a little delayed with the notes being on sync, Cinematic Studio Strings has this. All the performance samples have this with the shorts, like fluid shorts and stuff like that. Fluid brass as well, and Audi Imperia Jaeger and stuff. So I always start at negative 60 milliseconds, and that's kind of like the magic number because you hear it. I put that negative 60 and it's instantly perfect. You know? So again, I'm just kind of moving. How do I select the paint tool? I hold command because it's my alternate tool. So again, I always have it on the mouse. Hit this little corner arrow right there. You just click it and it says select alternative tool and it says command. So that's what will be selected when I hold command. So I'm not having to go up and click or hit 1 and 2 and scrolling through, or just even hitting this. I'm always on the mouse, so I can instantly select and copy and paste and do stuff like that. But I just hold command and there's the paint right there. Oops. And I want these all to be the same. Select the line. No, it's a little low. Maybe have them ramp up a little. So these are really dry, and like I said, I usually use them to cut through a mix, so I like something also a little more broad and wide and lush sounding, a little more cinematic. So what I'm gonna do is, actually I'll do an ensemble here, and load in the Spitfire, which are my favorite symphonic strings. But you hear how wet those are. A lot of times I'll go in and do the close mic as well. But these have like a thunderous width about them that a dry string library can't match because they're recorded in a room. But that also makes them a little bit, they can be lack clarity in a mix like this where there's this really heavy synthesizers and percussion. So same range. You can hear how much quieter those are as well. So also a cool thing to do is kind of layer in an octave up. Just select all, paste, Control C, Control V, or Control A, select all, Control C, copy, Control V, paste. Then it'll paste it right on top of that, then Shift and up, and it will do that up the octave. Now what I want to do with these is kind of have a bit more of the dynamics going on. I'm going to select a line here, going up and back down. So that octave up there, you can hear it kind of swells in and fades out. It doesn't take over the whole thing. And then I guess for the ending part, I'll just have them all kind of ramp up like that. So that the crescendo at the end and those violins or the violas come in a little bit more. Yes, the number keys also select through that, so hitting 1, 2, but the way I just explained the way I do it, because people ask how I'm so fast with it, and that's just like my own little shortcuts. So do whatever works for you. That's just how I do that. Yeah, if contact's too expensive, get complete. Or what he just said, we have a video all about that, how to get contactful for cheap. Search for that, because if you have one, you can get a cross-grade price for a lot lower. So you can hear, if I just had the Spitfire strings going, they don't cut through enough. They have a really wide dynamic range, so they're absolutely perfect in a purely symphonic setting. To me, these sound more like Hans Zimmer than the actual Hans Zimmer strings, right? They're very lush, very silky, very feathery, but they're also wet. They sit back in the mix, even with the close mics that I've enabled. So laying in the LA scoring strings adds that detailed layer. You hear a lot of the bow, you hear a lot of the string, a lot of the clicks, the detail, the little textures. This might be cool. Yeah, it's not as much of a playable instrument, so I'm going to load up something else for what I want to do with that. Alright, we'll do giveaway 2 while I'm doing this. We're going to knock it. We've been here an hour already, so we have 3 more giveaways. Okay, giveaway 2. Please don't start yet. Okay, you can go ahead now and type number between 1 and 1000 here into the chat. Only one number, please. If you just joined, don't type a bunch of numbers. Don't type the same number more than once. Just hit 1, and so it'll all be nice and organized, and whoever gets closest will win our second $50 gift card. We got 2 more after this. So I've got that Oracle X duplicated, and I want something else kind of like the winds that I have, just like a squealing. Oh, that's what I'm using already. Let me try a single. Raise the octave on my... Alright. I'm going to insert the frozen verb on this, part of the noise ash bundle. Listen to the end to hear the transition. Oops, I don't want that going one there. I want it here. I guess pitch bend isn't programmed into this. Can I automate this? Let me see if I can assign something. Those are all kind of previously mapped to that. I could do it within the Studio One MIDI mapping, but yeah, I use this. I use the search all the time, or the Finder. I did that all the time in Windows too. I never had anything organized. I'm going to reload this because I messed with the tuning. Okay. Alright, reading your guys' stuff. Any voice library, like vocals, or like solo vocal or choir? So this is what I love. This is what I also love about, like, I can just connect my iPad, which I've already had for forever. I've had iPhone, but just connected, and now it's a dual monitor laptop system. So put my mixer over there when I'm working and stuff, and it's really cool. Oh yeah, Complete is a great bundle. I see you guys talking about that. So I mean, I have a ton of vocal and like choir libraries, but you know, they all kind of do something different. Some of them are angelic, some of them are epic, some of them are solo female. Very few of them are solo male. I guess people don't want to hear men sing. There are some though. Got my little mini here. All right, so wind up the giveaway. Get those numbers in. I also have something new that I got down here. The Uno synth. It looks like Uno, but I've heard people say Uno as well. From IK Multimedia, their analog synth, which is really, really cool. But it just has capacitive touch keys, so I'd connect it downstairs to my bigger MIDI controller. But it's real analog, and you can feed it through and you know, have a real analog in your track, which always to me sounds thicker and fuller, and it's more time consuming, but it's a lot more fun to create sounds on an actual physical device to me. All right. Let's see what our giveaway winner for 2 is. And $376. All right. So let's take a look-see. I see a 333. I see 369. Only 7 off. Jeez, why does like thousands of people typed 333? Yes, we have 2 that are 7 off. 369 is 7 off as well, because the winning number was 376 plus 7 would be 383 for less. So whoever typed that one first is gonna win it. And I think it was you, Les. That's what's showing up on mine. Les typed that one first, so they're both the same distance off. We go with the first one. Email support@audioplugin.deals. Did that show up right as the link? Yeah, guess so. All right. Is there any other questions you guys had? My leg fell asleep, so we'll knock out the final 2 giveaways. Is there any other questions you guys had over any of the deals? Is there on anything else? We had a little track tutorial, as we do often times, so you guys can get see what I use, how I work, all that kind of stuff. Learn a lot of the stuff I teach my students. That is a good, if you want to pitch something that doesn't natively give you options, use a plugin like Waves, Sound Shifter, Pitch. Yes, I have some of those as well. I stopped using Waves because of their subscription thing, and Annoying. Are there some extra VSTs beginning of the new month? There's going to be, you know, at the new month, we're going to have more of the deals of the month, which are the freebies you get when you purchase anything. So there's going to be more of those for June. And question, what deal is my favorite currently? I think the Oracle that I've been using. Excuse me. So that's our blog that just went up. If you don't know, we have a blog, and that's how I write articles for it. But if you want to hear more, you ever want to hear more about, like, if you want to read about this stuff and there's not much info on it on the thing or on the page, what I try to do in the blog is like say why I like it and how I would use it. So we also have, you know, the stuff Ruben does in there. I'd say my favorite three are the ones that I chose to show today. Oracle X, because it really surprised me because I had not heard of it or even heard of this sampler or this company, and it turned out to be really, really awesome. Just right up my alley with those textures and stuff. The Gamelon, again, because it's just so versatile. So you may think of the Gamelon, the real instrument, as, you know, this chimed percussive instrument, but you heard like all the kind of processing and sound design that goes into that to get like hybrid loops and crazy synths and stuff like that, as well as the organic samples. And then this one, I've used the action delay for a couple, probably 3 years now since we first did a deal on it, and I still use it. So it was cool to have all of those again in a bundle. And I kind of turned them all on on one of these synths on the Dune here. I know my MIDI controller's over there, but it can just give you crazy results, like the filtering, the phasing, all kind of automated and modulated and stuff. So pretty cool stuff there. What do I use for mastering music? All right, what's the best way to save third-party assets on PC for loading into Contact? I mean, I use an external drive. I have at least 12 external drives. Now, another reason I got 2 TB SSD on this one is so that I didn't have to have a hub connected at all times with 7 different drives that are sometimes disconnecting even though it's powered. So I just have a SSD. Right now I have no spinning disk hard drive for this system, which is another thing I wanted just so it loads quicker. So SSD, try to keep like one just for samples that you can kind of transport. If you have 2 different computers, you can plug it in the other one and load up the projects, and it'll already have the path for those and everything. But then for third-party libraries for Contact Full, I highly encourage everyone to make use of the quick load, so you don't have to go and browse for them all the time. You know, I have these categorized by developer. Here's Audio Imperia, there's all my Audio Imperia stuff, performance samples, there's all that stuff. It's just there, ready to go. All from an SSD, so it'll load very fast. What do I use for mastering music? Really, I don't do much. I'll just put a limiter on there. I mentioned isotope ozone earlier. Sometimes I will use that because it just kind of glues everything together nicely. Sometimes I'll use a very light compression for glue, usually the FabFilter stuff, or like maybe a vintage kind of like a plugin alliance type thing, like a channel strip that'll have, you know, like this kind of vintage modeled emulated hardware strip. But not much. I just mix on each channel, and I'll be honest with you guys. A lot of these composers like say they're gonna master they're gonna send you a mastered track, and all they do is put isotope ozone on it. Uh, a lot of us don't have any idea. Like mastering engineers have like tens and tens of thousands of dollars worth of equipment in a studio, so it's not something I could even really do professionally from a DAW. But really just limiter and compression. All I really need. No, it's not scrolling because I need to use my mouse on this. As always, thank you for sharing your time, information, and knowledge with us. Thank you for attending. You're welcome. Which version am I running? I don't know. I just downloaded whatever they emailed me. So it's probably the latest one. I'm not sure though. I don't know how to tell. 1.7.1. So I don't even have the latest, I guess. How is my gym at the moment? Good. So if I mix for a TV, should I send a mastered stem to them? Again, like I think mastered is something that even publishers throw around that people like I sometimes people just want to hear the word mastered, right? If a client says I need a mixed and mastered version, then I'll do the best I can, and then you tell them, yeah, this is me mastering it. I'm not going to go into the depths of explaining what mastering really is to some people, but sometimes a lot of people it's just a buzzword. I'm not saying that for everyone here. Maybe some of you are professional mastering engineers and know all about it, but really, if a publisher asks for a mastered version, usually they don't. Usually a good publisher will do that themselves, right? They'll ask you for stems, and they'll tell you exactly what they want. They'll tell you if they want wet or dry, some -6 dB. Usually, I'll keep the limiter on so it doesn't clip. That's it. I'll send them the stems. Okay. We've only done 2 giveaways, right? I don't use a reverb on the master, ever, because I usually don't want the same reverb applied to everything. But I can literally show you my template and exactly how it's set up. While I'm doing this, you guys can go ahead and do the giveaway. Please type one number between 1 and 1000 here into the chat. So there are 3 reverbs I use on every single project. But again, it's going to be different for everyone because I do orchestral music mostly. I love writing for a full orchestra. So if you don't do that, then I understand why you may have a hall reverb on your master for songwriting and stuff like that. Can quit pulse. Can quit that. I'm gonna grab that guitar I was telling you guys about. Be right back. I can't find my pick. Can't find it. Oh, what I was doing on this one was like testing strings. Seeing which one sounded best between, for the legato, between my double patch of Spitfire Symphonic labored with chamber and the newer Appassionata that we were talking about earlier as well, which isn't fully loaded because it's loading into RAM now. There's one thing I don't like about the Spitfire player, as good as these samples are. As you can see, it is never as quick to load. Never. And some people, like, they say it loads fine for them, so not for me. Not that it's bad, it loads, it's just slow. Okay, so this is what the start of almost all of my tracks are, unless it's like a client request for a rock song or only synths or EDM or something. It's all like this. As you can see, on the master, all there is, fat filter limiter, and U-lean loudness meter, which tells me the exact loudness of my master, measured in LUFS. LUFS. I always use this on the master. Buy Pro, I do have Pro. I gotta enter my email. Whatever. There's a free version of that as well. And we did a deal on something called Butte loudness meter that does the same thing. So no reverb on the master. However, there are two types of orchestral samples, right? We have ones that are wet, recorded in a studio, and we have ones that are dry, that don't have any reverb. So the majority of my stuff is going to already be recorded in a hall. So I send that to a room reverb, which is going to be this cinematic rooms. And I have the dry wet mix right there. Then I have a second one where the dry wet mix is even less because of the Spitfire stuff that's recorded in a very wet room, and I just want it not to be the same, but they are all sent to the same preset and the same algorithmic room, so it sounds like they're all glued together in the same space. And then for dry samples, I have sends down here for East-West Spaces 2, which is a convolution reverb that will place dry samples into impulse responses of a real hall. So I use the Southern California hall. This is the full orchestra front room. So for the front, like strings and woods And then the rear room for like the trumpets, French horns, and the percussion and stuff goes to the rear. So a lot of them I have two sends, one to a convolution and then one to an algorithmic. And then I have a second reverb here. You guys know I love Black Hole, and that's for synthesizers and stuff that needs a huge sense of space that really isn't realistic. So organize all into folders, like ensemble sketch, combos, effects like string risers and stuff, 3 different pianos that each do different things, strings, a whole ton of strings. This is just shorts. This is just performance legato where I can play something really fast. This is just slow legato that plays something very romantic, expressive. These are textures and swells that rise and fall naturally. And then solo strings, brass, Spitfire Symphonic Brass, Junkie XL Brass, Cinebrass. They all do something different that I use them all for. Mix and match them all in a template with the same reverb so that they all sound cohesive together. Okay. Let's do our... Do you ever print out your music? Yeah, I have Notion from PreSonus, so but they also, what they've implemented in 5 is actually pretty darn good. The score view. So you might need to clean it up a bit, but yeah, Spaces 2 is a convolution reverb by East West, who does like Hollywood Orchestra and stuff like that. Yeah, so Notion is PreSonus's score notation software, and so I got it so it implements directly with Studio One. It's really easy. But again, I bought that before they had the score view here, and the score view is pretty, like I said, it's pretty awesome. Not quantizing, but like, you know, I've got overlapping notes and stuff in my piano roll to trigger legato transitions, or you may have like key switches programmed down here to go from staccato to marcato and stuff like that you just need to go in and maybe write some accents, maybe do crescendo, you know what I mean, write crescendos and stuff like that, or maybe link the proper notes. It's usually pretty good though. So just little things like that. Is that a template you use in every orchestra production? Yes, this is always saved, always loaded up, and it's what I start with. This one kind of had some stuff there from my string test. Usually it's just blank. All right. The winning number for 3 is 537. Do you zero the reverb on Spitfire in this? No, I don't. I keep it. There's a realism in the real room ambience that you can't fake, so that's also why, remember I had 2 of them here? It's like, look at this, there is send to room, which is cinematic rooms, and then there's also room SSO. And so it'll be the same algorithmic reverb, but you'll notice the dry wet mix is a lot less, so that it doesn't get, it's just a touch of it, right? that glues them all together in the same artificial space. So they're already in a space, right? But I want samples that are recorded in different spaces to be faked to sound like they're in the same space. Just add a little extra tail to them. What's the advantage of I don't know, you guys figure out who won. I'm answering these questions. The winner was 537 was the winning number. So I see 534. And that looks like it's it. Oh yeah, you say Cecilia Garcia. I didn't see that one. Yes, you win. You win, Cecilia. What's the advantage of having Notion when there's a score view? Notion was released before that, so it's just a little bit more powerful and focuses only on score, whereas score view is obviously a tacked on addition to a DAW. But again, I don't use them that often, so I would not be the best one to ask, like, because I don't do notation extensively, so. Can you make your template available to download? Maybe. You'd have to have all the samples I own. Just FYI. Or you would have to replace them with something you do own. Favorite realistic reverb plugin? These are them. Cinematic Rooms, East West Spaces 2. So if you guys don't know a lot about reverbs, if you have dry samples, I'd recommend a convolution reverb. So like the most budget-friendly alternative to this, to Cinematic Rooms, is Valhalla Room, which is like $50. So get that. It's what so many people use. It's the first one I used, and it's great. So email support@audioplugin.deals. We're doing our final one. We're knocking them all out. We've been here almost 2 hours. So you know the drill. Please type one number between 1 and 1,000 here into the chat. All right, so here it is. That's a standard. And oh my god, is it nice. Man, my chord's over there. My chord's over there. Okay. That is not a studio though. This is a standard. Which is a lot more money. No, no, no. Look, my microphone is amplified. Sorry about that. I want to set the input not to my microphone. So let me mute this real quick so it doesn't blow your eardrums. Cinematic Rooms is an algorithmic reverb. Okay. I just got this guitar the other day, so like this is like the third time I played it. Amplitude is way way better. I hate to say that because you said you just purchased it. Um, so there are some great presets in Guitar Rig. I started with Guitar Rig 5, and then like Guitar Rig 6 came out. I really like the interface of Amplitude, okay? Because you guys know, like downstairs, I've got like my orange amps and stuff like that. I have a Tube Screamer, I have a Boss SD1, I have a Crybaby Wah. So like all the exact pedals and like the way that you place them, and like the exact same cab well, it's a 212. Like, you know, I got a 112 cab down there. Exact same cabinet is right here. It's just you can mic it up with different mics. You can adjust the room, the distance. um, I don't have a rock reverb, which is what I'm using now. But you know, I have the little mini like orange terrors and stuff like that, and they sound so good. But again, like, you know, there are a lot of really good amp sims like Neural DSP and what you guys said, the Soft Tube Marshall. Um, the thing is, I also have a bass over there, and this Amplitude 5 Max, it's got guitars, all the heads that I really like. And it's got bass amps as well. It's got all the effects I like and all that stuff. So yeah, but I mean, there's a ton of good ones. You guys are mentioning a lot of really good ones. I don't understand. Like, okay, I do understand why IK Multimedia's manager isn't the best. But like, we get a ton of complaints when we offer like free synths. The synths I understand is you have to install Sample Tank and Syntronic and then the stuff. But like Amplitude, it was easy. I just literally just installed this and authorized it, and then it was done. So there's a lot of stuff that like maybe if you get like a free synth, and it'll start to download like T-Rax and all this stuff. That I can understand because I don't really want that stuff, and it just kind of installs it, and I just go and uninstall it anyway. I've never dealt with their tech support though, so I don't know about that. So there's my Uno synth again. I just got it. Um, See, I don't know. I didn't have to install sounds for Amplitude. It was all just done. These are all the free synths we've done and stuff, and like it gave me Moto drum, so I had to free and Moto bass, but like, and this was the deal we did recently. So I understand some of the frustration. So I didn't have to install the sounds. If I buy a new one out like this locked one, I'll have to install it. So um I don't know. I understand some of the frustration. I don't want to get into a big argument here about fucking IK Multimedia. I have nothing to do with them. I just like their synth because it was cheap, and I like their Amplitude. I don't like some of the install stuff as well, so I agree there. But I don't think it's like the worst thing in the world. Um, Sorry. This winning number for this final one, I just I just drew it, and it was 752. 752 is the winner for the final. So we will select a winner and notify you momentarily. Whoever got closest to 752. Here's some hiss from here. Off. I saw, what was it, 762. You guys see anyone closer than when I'm kind of like just shouting these out, scrolling through? Feel free to copy and paste it in there. Okay. Seven 62 would be it. That was only 10 off. Well, the giveaway's over, so to enter, we did 4 of them throughout this stream. So we'll have another stream in 2 weeks. To enter, so everyone entered one number between 1 and 1,000 into the chat. If you scroll up, you can see a lot of numbers and stuff. And it was going on for a while I was here jamming out, so I'm sorry that you missed it. Support at audioplugin.deals. Chris will be back in 2 weeks. We usually have these every 2 weeks. We didn't have this last week. One of our person who would send out the emails was unavailable, so sometimes something like that happens, but we usually try to keep it every 2 weeks. Well, welcome, Chris. Thanks everyone who tuned in. I was waiting for Chip to say he loves me. You said show the guitar. Yeah. My first Les Paul standard. So it's not weight relieved. It doesn't have... The other ones I've had were like weight relieved, so it was really light. And I actually don't like that. I want it to be really heavy. I think it's over... I think it's about 10 pounds. They make a lot of ones that are weight relieved. They have holes cut into the body. I didn't want that, so... the next stream should be in 2 weeks. So yeah, if you know guitars, this is a Les Paul Standard, limited edition with the flame maple top, bourbon burst, I believe it was called. 61 burst buckers. So the studio I have has the 490T, 498T, which are a bit more modern. It's weight relieved. It also has coil tapping, and as much as I do like it, like it doesn't really feel like a real Les Paul for me. um, just because it has like, I'm not gonna tell you how much I paid. You can look it up. It was the most expensive guitar I've ever bought. Edgar, you're close. It was a little bit more because of the flame top. So yeah, thank you guys for joining. If there's any more questions, type it in. Yeah, 490s are very good. The 498 especially is just more modern, more high gain, less vintage. Les Paul better than Strat? Though I wouldn't say that. To me, it is, but I love Strats too. Okay, those are my two favorite guitars of all time, and this is the world's two favorite guitars. They're most iconic. So, me, I like humbuckers more for what I do, but both amazing. So this is technically a vintage, but you know, that sounds quite hot to me. It's just a thicker, warm, like rounder, fatter tone. I haven't played that in so long. There's also a tiny bit of delay between when I'm playing. It's so hard to play something fast like that without it being fucking me up with a little bit. That's easier as it's slower. So what you can do also is an EBow, which is really, really cool. just like infinite sustain with that. Have you guys ever heard of that? I'm sure a lot of you have. But if you don't know what this is, I put it over the string with those two things. The string sits in the middle, and I turn it on, and it generates electromagnetic resonance, and the string vibrates instead of plucking it, so you can basically control the feedback like that. So, all right, thank you guys for joining. This is what I'm doing. And it slowly stops as I remove this. That's what I'm doing. All right, thanks everyone. We'll be back in about 2 weeks. We'll be back. And more videos and deals to come shortly. Thank you guys for joining. Had a lot of fun here today, and we will be back with more as usual. So have a good weekend, everyone. I'm gonna go walk the audio plugin pooch. And Cole audio plugin pooch number 2. See you guys.